All right, now I'm going to be bringing you today's news. There's been a lot of movement in the MMA space this week already, as is often the case when we have card breaks. I did make a video on the news yesterday, and there's even been a lot happening since then, so let's get straight into it. Now, most recently, particularly over the last week, Masvidal has been back on a whinge tour about Colby being the next in line for a title shot. He's been talking a whole load of shit about what happened, and there still seems to be no love lost between the two of them. I'm guessing that the court case must be close to a conclusion, or there must be something sorted out behind the scenes, because they both seem to be very active about talking about each other again. You know, we had a lot of silence for the last 6 to 8 months while this was obviously sorting itself out. He's also been bleating a lot about, what the possibilities will be if he beats Gilbert Burns, and notably saying he's going to get the next shot. Fuck off, George. This again is just completely hypocritical and delusional. As we know, Masvidal has lost twice to Usman, and not just in emphatic ways, but in two opposite extremes. He obviously lost the first by dominant decision. He may have edged around, and he also lost by brutal KO. He's also been inactive due to his own thuggish stupidity as well, and now he thinks he can just fortuitously get another shot at the title for sucker punching Leon years ago and then ducking him for years, deeming him not important enough to have a match with. And now that he's conveniently champion, he wants to jump the queue and get a fight when it suits him. I don't think it's going to really matter though, because I think Burns is going to beat George anyway. So this is kind of irrelevant. I don't even see how a win against Burns would elevate him above Colby, unless it's in really dominant fashion, which is going to be very hard to do against Gilbert. So yeah, difficult to see a scenario where Jorge is rightfully next, whatever happens in the next 2 weeks. Part of me does wish it does happen though, because I think Leon absolutely mollywops him, so we'll see. Now, another thing that came out recently was Ali Abdelaziz coming out in defense of Andrew Tate in a series of tweets. I assume Tate must be praying and wishing that this man just shuts up. The last person I would want defending me in this space is that ratty little skid mark. Valentina Shevchenko has also come out accusing Jason Herzog, the referee in the bout, of costing her the belt against Grasso. And while I admit this is really salty and she should just prove herself in the rematch, when I watched the fight, I immediately thought this during the moment in the third when Herzog chose to stand the fighters up, while Valentina was clearly applying good ground and pound after taking Grasso down. Now, maybe he was instructed beforehand to punish inactivity, but this wasn't one of these moments. Valentina was on top at the time, punching Grasso in the face. She had complete control. There's a chance the fight does go differently if they were not stood up. But honestly, Valentina kind of played herself with the utterly stupid decision to throw spinning attacks for half the fight like a complete tard. So that loss is completely on you, dude. So we found out that Li Jingliang and his dope as fuck suit game will unfortunately not be on display, as he was forced to pull out of his fight with Michael Chiesa in a few weeks. Apparently he's got some kind of spinal injury. I hope he gets back soon. Exciting fighter to watch, and I think he deserves a break after getting robbed against Rodriguez. A replacement fight for Chiesa is yet to be announced, so I will keep tabs on that. Would have been an interesting fight. I like Lee, and Chiesa not so much. Okay, also Ariel Helwani joined a long list of people coming out most recently to pile on referee Frank Collazo for his catastrophic miss of an unconscious opponent in last Friday's Fury FC main event. For those that missed it, there was a fighter who was essentially unconscious for about a minute, with Collazo somehow missing it. The unconscious fighter then proceeded to have his arm almost ripped off his body just in time as he woke up from his nap. This is a situation that is really dangerous. I do get it. If somebody's getting choked out and obviously the referee doesn't see it in time, that could result in a fatality in the cage, and that's the last thing we want as MMA fans. It was a massive error. He probably should never be allowed to ref again. But despite Helwani's contributions to the reporting and elevating fighters on the MMA scene, I just find him so sanctimonious and arrogant these days. And either that or he's just being a straight up bum licker to whoever comes on. And I just can't listen to the man anymore. I just think he's an asshole. We get it. The ref fucked up. He's going to be fired. Let's just move on from this. Alright, in actual fight news, we had fast movement regarding bantamweights, with rumours that Merab is actually not going to be fighting Corey, which seemed to be the way things were going yesterday. But instead it looks like he's being lined up to fight Umar Nurmagomedov during International Fight Week. Now, just when I think that Merab can't cuck any more than he already has, he manages to outdo himself. For me, this fight is coming way too soon for Umar, who I actually rate pretty highly. Probably won't surprise because, you know, most people do rate Nurmagomedovs without really knowing much about them. I actually think that Usman Nurmagomedov, the lightweight champion, is the most elite of that brood of fighters coming through. But I'd consider Umar to be probably the second most promising. Very young though, and, you know, I have said it plenty of times, Merab should be stabbing Aljo in the back at this point and trying to take his belt. You are a prize fighter, you inbred goblin. And you are missing prime years of your career and the chance to potentially make millions. You are a cuck, sir, and shame on you. Umar, in the last few years, I would have favoured him, but nobody is stopping Merab now, and that relentless cardio onslaught is going to be too much for anyone, I think, in the division. Maybe the loss, though, will be good for Umar. We'll see. We also had Jones Miocic confirmed. I guess it makes sense, you know. Of course, I'm going to go for Jones in that one. In other news as well, in Bellator, Pettis is also going to be fighting Pitbull in the co-main event of Bellator 297. This, for me, is a horrible decision by the management that puts the division on pause again. It has been for over a year. They have an interim champ already in Stotts who is far more active and taking on Patchy Mix soon. And the assumption was that one of those guys was going to get the next shot. Now, when Pitbull inevitably wins, the division is back in a bad place. You know, on the other hand, it is Bellator. The whole promotion is second rate, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, so I'll see you all again soon. People, thanks as always for tuning in. I was planning on doing this series once a week, but hey, it's starting to track really well, so I might just keep it more regular as often as I have time. Fuck you again, Jorge, and bye-bye everyone. I'll probably see you in a day or two.